So Craig, re-signing, what was it that tipped you over to sticking around for a bit longer?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly what tipped me over, but been thinking about it for a while, and yeah, just thought I had a bit more, a bit more time in me. So yeah, like I say, it's probably one of the other things. My wife was, she wasn't sort of probably 12 months ago wasn't that keen on, sort of going on, but yeah, she just basically give me her support as well. So yeah, so it all worked out.
There's a couple of years. It looks like you've got a couple extra years there. Are you still going to go year by year, figuring out do I want to go on, or is it sort of you think you got those couple of years to go?
Oh no, I think I've committed to those 2 years, so that'll be the plan. Yeah.
So Craig, you say you have to convince the missus?
No, I didn't have to convince her. She sort of, but like I say, she gave me support. Like I said, we're all getting older, especially us, and we're looking forward to retirement. And well, not looking forward to it, but know it's close. So just working out what the right time was or is was probably the hard part.
Is that something you have to sort of imagine in your life not doing this, right? You've been here for so long. Is there a part of you that sort of tried to imagine what it's going to be like?
Yeah.
Doing this is hard to step away.
That's a fair point, and that's probably what it is. If I got a, if I wasn't doing this, have I got a reason to get up out of bed in the morning? So that sort of situation, or that, I don't know what you call it, but I'm not quite sure I'm ready for that. And like I say, I'm still enjoying what I'm doing here, to be quite honest. They're a really good bunch to work with, the players and the staff, and the club in general. It's a really enjoyable environment to be around. So like I say, it was, I wouldn't say it was an easy decision in the end, but it's a decision that we come to, and I'm going to embrace now, and really looking forward to Friday night and the rest of the season.
Aside from the day-to-day, every day I want to get out there, is there one more thing, is there one more premiership that's describing you? Like you feel like this group has got that in them, so that keeps that motivation high?
Oh yeah, for me it's just every week. This week, planning out our week, and then trying to make every day as good as you can, and obviously, the end of it is winning the premiership, without a doubt. But not everyone can win the premiership, as everyone knows, and we certainly know. But just turning up every day and doing the best job I can. That's my main drive.
What was behind extending for a couple of years this time rather than just the one?
I don't think I've ever signed up for just 1 year. I don't. I think my last contract was 5 years, so this one's an extra 2. So I don't think I've ever signed up for just 1 year.
Is this the most challenging season you're entering, considering the personnel changes? Ali Katoa on the sidelines. The depth may be a bit leaner compared to previous years.
I'm not quite sure. I don't look at it like that. I just, as I said, look out, plan the week out, and make sure I do my job the best I can every day. So obviously, with Paps and Nas, and especially with Ellie not being there, he's been probably our best player the last couple of years. And it's going to be a little bit more more difficult than we've had in the last couple of years. But we've got some real good kids coming through. I won the under-21s last year, so there's a couple of good kids there that if we think we can give them a bit of time, they could be a real help to us this year.
Craig, is Sewer going to get the first look at fullback in pre-season, or have you got a couple of other guys sort of right chasing him for that spot?
Yeah, at the moment, he'll get first shot. To his credit, he probably hasn't in the past been one of our fittest players or athletes, what they call them these days. But this year he's come back, really fit. He's done a lot of work, and he realises, to play that position, you need to be fit. You need to have endurance. We all know he's got pace and whatever, but you need to improve his endurance, and he has. So at this stage, he'll probably get first shot at it, but we've got a couple of other players that can play fullback as well. So we'll just see how that goes.
Who's the next most likely? Is it Trent Talau or is it one of the other lads you've got?
To play fullback?
Yeah.
No, Trent's a half or hooker. So we've got Hugo Poole there. He can play there, and Nick Mooney can play any position for us. So there's a couple of more options there if that don't work out. But as I said, we've got real confidence in Sewell. With the pre-season he's had or the pre-season he is having, they should be able to do a really good job for us.
It's two Victorian fullbacks, Hugo and Sewell. Did you ever think you'd see two Victorians lining up for one of your main positions?
Probably not. Well, not in the past, but there's obviously something happening. I think with Billy, being our most famous fullback, I suppose, and him still living here. Most of the players sort of go back to where they come from or whatever, but Billy stayed here, and he's around a fair bit. He does a little bit of work for us, and so I don't know whether his concentration on the fullbacks has sort of really helped Sewell and Hugo. So but like I say, he's a great guy to have around for us, and a great guy to have around for those two young fullbacks. There's not much that Billy doesn't know about fullback play, so I'm sure they'll be well educated.
How is Hugo coming in his development? He's been around a couple of years now, emerging star. Obviously starts at fullback this weekend. Do you see an NRL debut at some point this year?
Oh, I'd like to think so. Yeah, without a doubt. One of Hugo's great strengths is his endurance, his fitness. He's probably the fittest player here. So that's a real strength, for a fullback. So the way he plays, the style he plays, he has to be that. So like I say, I think he'll certainly play at some stage this year, and I don't know about fullback either. We're going to have a look at him in the trials in a couple of other positions as well. So like I say, he's got a great attitude, and he's working the house down. So I'm sure we'll see him at some stage this year.
Where are you at with Zach Lomax, and do you think he'll be in a Storm jersey this year?
You probably have to ask the higher guys up than me. I don't know what's happening there at the moment. It's sort of it changes and it doesn't change and whatever. So I don't know.
Are you hopeful though that he'll be in a Storm jersey?
Oh, I'm hopeful without a doubt. We'd love to see him here, but as I said, I don't know what's happening. So
Last one, please, guys.
Just obviously a couple of weeks ago, a few fans were shocked seeing Cam Smith in a Broncos attire, being on board with the Broncos. What did you make of him, seeing him in all that Broncos gear?
We tore his membership up straight away. No. Like at the end of the day, I rang Smithy up, and he rang me up and just explained, why he'd taken on the job. And, like at the end of the day, he's got no ties where he's got a contract or anything, so he can do what he likes with his life, And but like I say, he'll be a great benefit to the Broncos. Pretty smart of the Broncos to get in there, I think. And but like I say, he's just going to help out. I think the halves and the hookers up there. And but like I say, it's we would love to see him here. But having said that, he lives in Queensland now, and so it's it just fit in with his life at the moment, his family's life. But certainly there's no hard feelings at all. No, none.
Say something that he rang you still and said, "Oh, I'm going to do this." Didn't let you just find out in the media or whatever.
Oh yeah, I think it does, and I think that's Cameron Smith. He's probably the greatest player that I've seen, and certainly one of the all-time greats of our game, especially with the amount of games he played. But the underlying thing, he's a real good bloke, and he thought that was the right thing to do, and I appreciated that. He didn't have to do that, but he did, and that just says something about the bloke he is.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers.